Hello everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Yes, I'm sorry guys, it's just trying something different at the beginning. WizardKen here, and today we're going to be talking about the T57 Heavy. Alright, yeah, finally we've gotten it. I just got this thing this morning, and I've been playing it for about 4 to 5 hours, testing it out, you know, just learning a little bit of the tank here and there, also reading some things up online, just trying to test out a couple techniques for it, trying to learn this tank. And hopefully with the more and more videos that I produce for the T57, we can get a lot better. You know, by no means am I an expert on a tank I just got, nor will I ever be an expert, but hopefully we can get this tank to its fullest potential. So there are some good things I like about this tank, and there are also some very, very bad things that I do not like about this tank. So without further ado, let's talk about this tank right now. This thing has 2,250 hit points. Of course, this thing costs the same that pretty much all tier 10s cost, is 6,100,000 silver. So that's pretty much the standard for most tanks. Now the experience points you need is 250,000, which I feel is a little extreme for this tank, giving its good parts and its bad parts. I would say probably 210,000 to 215,000 would have been a better price for researching on this thing. I would have to say, just because I've used free XP to get this, and also the tank's experience to get this tank, I feel like it took me a long time to get it, like more than usual for a tier 10. I can usually get a tier 10 in a couple of days, guys, 3 to 4 days. This one, it feels like it's taken me a lot longer than that. I haven't added up the days, but anyways, this thing can travel about 35 kilometers an hour, depending on the terrain. Now the hull armor on this is 203 in the front, 50 in the side, and 30 on the rear. The turret armor is 127 in the front, 137 on the side, and 50 in the rear. I can understand the 50 on the rear, but why is the front armor less than the side armor? I mean, I understand that the front armor is a lot more angled on the turret. Of course, you can ricochet. I've done it with this. And I understand that the sides are pretty flat, or straight up and down, but the thing is still, why would I prefer more armor in the front, but that's just me. So moving on, this thing can shoot about 5.47 rounds a minute, around there, give or take, depending on your situation. You could probably get more than that off. The reason why is because it does take 22 seconds to reload this thing, which is quicker than the T54 E1, which is really nice, especially since this has a 120 millimeter barrel on it instead of the 105 barrel that was on the T54 E1. Now, in between each shot, it takes about 2 seconds to put another round into the barrel. So just remember that you're not going to be like boom, 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 boom. It's going to take, you know, 2 seconds to get another round heading down towards your target. The penetration isn't bad with the standard round. It's about 258, but we'll get more into that once we go into the consumables. Now, the traverse speed on this thing is about 30 degrees a second, left to right, which isn't terrible. The only thing I have to say is, talking about the armor, is this basically is the same design as the T110's armor, the heavy, and even the tank destroyers, and I feel that this thing has been kind of dumbed down compared to those the armor of the T110 E3 and E4 and also the E5. So let's talk about that. Let's get right into the talking about the armor and the soft spots that are going to really piss you guys off. Now, you guys can see the pictures of the vulnerabilities of this tank. It's ridiculous. This is why I'm kind of upset with this tank, and even though it's an autoloader, and this is probably why it was dismissed and never really fully made. I believe the prototypes were made, but that was it. And then they, they were like, no, no, no. As you can tell, of course, the lower plate is just like the T110 E5s and stuff like that. Those are about, a foot underneath the lower plate is where you can hit this thing and hurt it. But why even try for that if you can hit pretty much everything on that turret? Everything on that turret is pretty much a dead giveaway to hurting. Now, of course, you got to remember this is an angled, very angled turret. There are you can angle yourself to an extent with your turret, and it can ricochet some things. I've done it, but if you don't get that ricochet, you're gonna hurt. One of the main things I'm getting screwed on this tank is one, my turret ring. As you can see, there's a huge gap between the turret and the hole. That is a nasty spot. If someone hits you, your turret ring will automatically get blown out and your turret will not move. That's one thing that's been very common on this tank for me. And also ammo racking is very terrible, and also destroying the gun. Those are the three main things I get a lot of the times, and it really upsets me. I'm like, God damn it, once again my turret ring's out again. I just fixed this damn thing. So anyways, if you could look underneath on the upper hull, you can see the upper plate. You could see that the barrel is making a dark shadow on it. If you follow that all the way up to the viewport right there, that's the driver. So pretty much that whole shadowed area is a good spot to hit if you want to kill the driver and so forth. But anyways, anything on the front area is really nasty. If you hit on the left side of the turret, just below that viewport where the sides are, and you can see this on the there, you can actually pretty much you could pretty much hit the commander or the gunner. I've had them die a lot in this tank. So moving to the sides now, in the we're gonna start with the hull. Now in the front of the hull, you could see that there is white marks from pretty much half of the tank all the way up to the front, and that is a nice spot to ammo rack this tank. Also from half of this tank to the rear is where you're going to catch this tank on fire and damage the engine and so forth and so forth. There's no real armor to protect this thing from getting shot in the side, so this is a frontal tank. This is not very good for getting shot in the sides. Like the E100s are decent because they have the spaced armor and stuff like that. But majority of my problems have been people just shoot me in the turret. Really, they shoot me in the sides and stuff like that. That's great, but majority of the time has been my turret. It's been the big, really upset of this thing. It's been one of the worst things to get. It's this turret. As you can see, where the star is for, you can see right there. Pretty much all of that area is an easy spot to hit. Where that round little cylinder that is sticking out right up there is a nasty spot to hit. Pretty much you can kill the commander and stuff like that. And also the back little, we'll just say winged area of the turret is very nasty to hit too. Also will damage this tank. Moving to the rear, of course all this back area is really nasty. As we start on the hull, you can see that that's going to be pretty much where the engine is. Now, I've been artied here, and it has been shit. I've been killed instantly with arty. It's a nasty spot to get hit. So I would say just keep yourself mobile. Try to act like a medium tank. Keep yourself moving, and this and that. Of course, the entire back end of the turret is just a, hey, shoot me, please shoot me. Moving on to the side of the tank, this is exact replica of the other side, just as bad spots, except that the only difference is where you see the star, that's still a nasty spot, but as you can see in the pictures, going all the way up to basically the front of the barrel, where the barrel begins, is a spot where you can pretty much knock out knock somebody out, the commander, or anything like that. So this is what I was talking about, was the bad spots of this entire tank. Of course, on the turret, on the very top, you can see the commander's hatch, or you could just see the hatch of the tank. That's a nasty spot to hit too. But what I want to point out is that this entire tank is pretty much a shoot me in the turret and you're gonna get me. Like I said, you can ricochet some things, but I could tell you this, it's one of those, this tank I actually keep back a little bit. I keep behind IS-7s, or I try to keep back behind E100s once they can absorb a shot from somebody else. This one is not going to do very well, especially when you have to fix your loader, or one of your commander or your reloader or your gunner has gotten shot out, anything like that. Or worst of all is your turret ring getting shot out, and you're gonna have to use the whole tracks, your traverse, to actually move your barrel left and right. That's the thing that really sucks, is when that happens. So that is one of the nastiest parts of this tank, is just I think the turret is just really too weak for this tank. So anyways, moving on to the we're gonna go to the packages. Of course, there's no packages to unlock, but we're gonna talk about the gun. Now, you do get a 120mm gun on this, which is pretty much the same gun as the T110E5, except the difference is that you have an autoloader. You get 4 rounds until and then you have to reload. Now, the rate of fire on this now is saying 7.27, but the average is between 5 to 7, somewhere in there, 8 if you're lucky. Like I said, there is a 22-second full magazine exchange, and then 2 seconds between each shot. Now, the aiming time isn't bad, 2.70. Now, I want you guys to look at the accuracy. The accuracy is 0.34 to 0.40, and if I remember right, the T54 is 0.40, 0.47, I think. You know what? Let's just go look at that real quick, because I want to be perfectly correct on this one. Okay, 0.40 to 0.42. So that is a huge difference in accuracy. Now, I'm not saying you could snipe with this tank. This is the same accuracy as you get with the T110E5. So it's not bad, though. I have sniped with some of this. I don't recommend it completely, because, of course, you still are not going to be as accurate as you are in like a medium to short range area. But you can do it with this tank. But like I said, I would highly recommend trying to get closer if you can. Now, the reason why I like to snipe a little bit with this tank is because of the turret. I don't like having to deal with the getting close to people and then my turret ring gets shot out, and then I'm screwed. Even though there's a tank that's half dead and I could have killed him, but I can't because my turret ring is gone out, and I've already used it on my tracks, or I used it on my barrel, or I used it on my my loader. So yeah. You really have to find your niche with this tank. It's very tricky at certain times, depending on the map and stuff like that. Now, the penetration is 258, like we talked about with the standard shell, 400 damage. Now, with the hash rounds or gold rounds, it's 340 penetration and 400 with, damage. So the damage doesn't change, but look how much you get in penetration. Now, this is going to be a different video for another time, is what rounds to use. I've read different articles and this and that and stuff, and have tried a different amount of things, and to be honest with you, I'm not going to give you my personal opinion. We're just going to use all regular rounds. We're going to just use regular armor piercing rounds for today. But look it up. It's actually kind of interesting to see what people say to do on here. But that is a huge significant increase in penetration. It's just like the FE183 having hash rounds completely for that tank has made that tank pretty badass, and it's a nasty tank. So that's gonna be for another video. So anyways, let's go to the consumables. Now the consumables, like I said, we're gonna start with armor piercing, and then another day we'll do the heat rounds, or the hesh rounds. Anyways, 36 rounds for this tank. I've never run out of rounds in the game, so it's pretty decent in that. Anyways, small repair kit, small first aid, and of course manual fire extinguisher. Now on my crew, we'll show real quick. In the top right corner, you can see that I'm working on my repairs, because my repair, I actually took this guy out of the freedom tank, so it didn't really cost me anything to really move this over. Like I said, I'm working on the repairs. I've already got my 6th sense, and that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to move this crew over, is because it already had the 6th sense. It's already got the Brother in Arms and the experience booster on there. After this, I'll probably get, I don't know, maybe fire extinguisher or something like that. We'll figure it out as we go with this tank. Now equipment, so far the only thing I have is an enhanced gun laying drive. I have played this tank without any of the equipment on, and I've been fine with it. I've been fine without anything on there. I do recommend eventually getting improved vents, just because it would help out with your crew. As you can see, the improved vents is 600,000 silver, which I don't have right now, but this will definitely help out with getting your crew up there in their experience level, and getting some of those other experiences built up on them. And then of course the vertical stabilizer is another one I would put on here. But then again, to be honest with you, like I said, I haven't had a bad time with this tank. I wouldn't mind doing the toolbox, so that's going to be up in the air, but that'll probably be later, after I've gotten a certain amount of experience with my crew, a certain amount of them put onto my tank, and then I'll probably sell this and get the toolbox. Alrighty guys, here we are at the word I'm not even going to try to pronounce anymore. Standard battle. We have a whole bunch of tier 10s and just 2 tier 9s, a tier 8 and tier 7 and tier 6. I feel bad for that tiger too. You can see he's like, fuck me, I wasn't even platooned with anybody and I got screwed over. So anyways guys, I'm actually going to be announcing this while this recording is actually playing. Apparently my mic, I unplugged my mic accidentally when I was playing on this mission, so I actually am re-recording it, at least the voiceover right now. So anyways, this was a really good battle to show off on the T57. I felt it did pretty well. I know this, it's just really my first attempts with this tank. I mean, I've been playing it all day, but still, one day of playing does not, you know, it's not going to be compared to somebody that's been playing it for months and months. So I'm excited to see how I'm going to do with this tank. Now usually I go over to the mountainside to the far right of me, my right, across the tracks, and I like to play around in that area or in this city. This time I thought, heck, you know what, let's try something different, go into the middle of the field and see what happens. Now I noticed there's tanks pretty much all around me. There's probably going to be tanks going up on the hill that I usually like going up. I noticed there's a Waffle E100. There's a couple of nasty tanks to the far left. So pretty much we're completely surrounded with this tank. And then this is where I decided, screw it, I'm going to take a chance with this barrel and see how well it does. As you can see, not too bad in the sense of shooting at the T110E5. Like I said, we have the same accuracy as the T110E5. So pretty cool for an autoloader. Anyways, the T21 comes up there, or T71, I can't remember what it was. It comes up there and tries to spot me. Now, I've got a question for you guys while this is going on. Has anybody had a problem with their 6th sense, or their a problem with their detection going off? Now, I was on a map, I can't remember which one it was, and this has happened a couple times. I've been traveling around, and all of a sudden I'm getting shot at. Now, you might be saying, well, maybe you're in a well-known area. No, it's one of those spots that hardly anybody ever goes. You guys know me. I like to go off the beaten path sometime. Anyways, I get shot by one, and then a couple of seconds later, 2 or 3 shots hit me. A couple seconds later, you know, 3 or 4 more shots hit me, and then I'm dead. Now, the thing I'm wondering about this is, after about the 10 to 15 seconds that I was getting shot at, I finally died. Never did my light go off, or my detection. So 6th sense never went off, nor detection. So my question is, has anybody else had this problem? Because one or the other is supposed to go off during this time. So anyways, getting back to the action, as you can see, I was trying to hit the FV on its top. Now, usually hitting that thing in the front of its turret is not going to help too much. Usually shooting that thing right in, like on the top of its turret, or, you know, sometimes the front of its body, stuff like that is a lot better than trying to actually shoot near the gun and stuff. So, now this part, I pretty much was like trying to figure out what's my next best plan of attack. A lot of the guys on the far left side of me are pretty much dead. There's not too many people in the open or easy targets to hit. That's when I started seeing the Waffle E100, and I was just like, oh god, here we go. I take another couple of shots just to see if I can hit him when he disappeared, but it didn't do so well. So once again, all I'm doing is trying to figure out what spots are good, where the enemy is getting lit up, and then basing my attack off of that, which is a really good thing. Sometimes you need to let your teammates go in there and take some, you know, heated rounds towards them. Then that's when I finally noticed, this is the first time we've seen anybody get on top of the mountainside where our buddies are, and I just like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take pop shots at this guy because I need to get him away from my teammates. I know I'm completely missing, but that's fine with me. I didn't care at this point, because if you watched, half of our team was losing their life up there. Those 3 guys up there were like boom, 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 getting their asses handed to us. So I wanted to make sure that I did something to try to get that guy back away. And you don't see him for a little bit more time. So I am risking it a little bit coming out here. So, alright, there we are, trying to use some of those weak spots. Of course, the gun's not exactly hitting it accurate, but you can see that side of the turret was hit, side of the armor was hit. I did try hitting the commander's spot just because I was trying. Alright, so they had, I think, 3 Waffle E100s on this. It was pretty nasty. They could have done a lot of damage to us. And that I was surprised. After I shot, I was like, that's going to kill him. And that's why I turned away. I was like, no way. No way this guy is going to just live after that shot. Yeah, he did. He bounced it. Now, I got my first hit here. And that's just because I knew I had been spotted. And usually Bubba likes sitting on that other side where I got shot from and shooting people in the middle. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. Sometimes that they're getting so excited that your team is doing so great that they don't move. Now, I know this guy's here. I know he is here. I take another shot, and I take him out. Now, I know he's not spotted. And this doesn't go towards what I was talking about earlier, where magically I'm getting shot. I'm talking like at the beginning of the game, no one spotted me or anything. Like, this guy knows he was spotted originally and then is being shot at. So, anyways, once again, a T110 thinks, hey, let's go up there. And I take a couple pops at him, hit him once. Like I said, really not the best use of this tank. I mean, really don't want to snipe, but you can see pretty much most of my rounds are hitting where they need to go. It's just when I go really quickly, and that's my problem, is that I'm not allowing the aiming to get into its full potential and then shooting. I am just shooting right off the bat, so it's kind of screwing me over in that sense. So, and there's the T110. I know the guy had him on fire, but I said, fuck it, I want to get the points. I just wanted to get the points. Anyways, this is our last guy, the IS-7, and somebody takes him out. I know it wasn't me, so pretty much, yeah. But this was a great look at this tank and how it performs. It's really, really great. And there you go. The Waffle E100 finally takes him out and kills him. Alrighty, guys. 50,000 silver and 1,794 in experience points. So we did 4,733 in damage and 1,874 in assisting. We shot 29 times and direct hits were 20. 15 actually penetrated. So not the best numbers, but pretty decent. I mean, look at the damage. So that's just great.